to welcome our students back into the school today. We have a special guest joining us along with our partners from Sunswept Resorts. Again, it's another chance for the Sports Academy to work with our partners to bring in high-level elite athletes that can share their experiences from around the world and help us, create a better culture for our student athletes here as we work with them and develop them to become high-level athletes, well-attuned sports professionals, and hopefully get them to think about expanding, what they see as their futures for, life beyond sport and life through sport, which also includes higher education through sport. So today's another chance for us to get this level of exposure. We look forward to, obviously, an engaging discussion. I know our students are going to have some questions at the end, so that they'll be thinking about as we go through this. And so without further ado, I want to welcome up from Sunswept Resorts our good friend Carlos, who's becoming a very familiar face on campus as we continue to bring these guests in. So Carlos, thank you for coming in today and working with us again, our students.
Always, absolutely. Thanks, everyone. I'll be very brief and very quick. Some of you may not have been here when Tyree Washington joined us, so that was our first athlete, and as promised, we're now going bigger and better. We're bringing... Don't tell him I said that. We've got Steve Lewis here. Steve is an Olympian. He was at the 88 and 92 Olympics and a plethora of gold medals, obviously to his name, in the 4x400 and the 400. I won't go into too much detail. I'll let him tell you his story. But while he's doing so, just think of questions and make as interactive as possible. Ask whatever you want to ask. I'm sure he'll give you the time and attention to all your questions.
So I am Steve Lewis, your friendly neighborhood Olympian, right? I think because I feel like I'm a superhero at times, so I just say friendly neighborhood. And every morning I have this affirmation I want to share with you. Every day I rise, I am energized with the strength and courage to accomplish all of my goals, and the compassion and the willingness to inspire and to help others. And as a runner, I have another one, from start to finish, my stride is replenished, right? And so that's not just with track and sports, that's with everything, right? You want to make sure that you follow through with everything that you set out to do. So from start to finish, my stride is replenished. And I'm going to throw one more thing at you. It's called stay ready so you don't have to get ready, athletically and with education. Staying ready and being ready is not just about the sports, it's about mental. I like the signs around here with education. Use sports to get you to where you want to be in life. That's what I did. And I'm going to tell you my story in a little bit. But there's life after sports. Everyone's not going to be an Olympic champion. Everyone's not going to make it in the majors in football. Not in cricket, right? What are your backup plans? The plan A, B, and C. There's a thing called the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Those are the 5 Ps. I'm going to test you at the end. 5 Ps, proper preparation prevents poor performance. I'll test you later. So set yourself up for success. You have to have short and long-term goals, right? My short-term goal was to run fast or run a specific time. My long-term goal when I was younger is to be an Olympic champion. But I wasn't going to become an Olympic champion overnight. It was stages getting there. There was going to be bumps along the road. I was going to have good days and bad days, fast races and slow races. Even my bad days, those were reference points to help me, so when I had another race, I improved and I ran better, right? In life, you're going to have bad days in school, you have good days, right? Your bad days, you got to remember when it was good. What did I do to allow me to do better on a certain test or in track? For me, I had bad races. I didn't like that. Why is that? What do I need to do to correct it? So I use these reference points to make me better. Now, my story. So my sport was athletics, or track and field they call it. My event was the 400 meters. Any of you run? No runners? Nobody runs it? Oh, raise it up. All right. So, okay, some track and field right now. Track and running, you need it for all sports. Even with football, you have to run. So my specialty was the 400 meter. I feel like it was the hardest event out there. One lap, all out. Okay, and when I was younger, a little younger than you, I started running track for a club. I'm from Los Angeles, a track club called the Los Angeles Jets. And I was pretty fast for my age. I had good days and I had bad days. I'm going to tell you a story. So when I was about your age, I was about 13, 14 years old, and I remember my coach warming me up for a track meet. For some reason that day, I felt like I wasn't going to do well. I doubted myself. Even though I had prepared to put all that work in, I just had second thoughts. It's going to happen. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go hide somewhere, and hopefully they run my race, and I'll miss it. That's just how I felt. I was just so scared and nervous. I said, I don't want to run today. I doubted myself. I questioned my abilities. So I hid for about an hour, and I said, okay, they might have ran my race by now. So I sat back there thinking about things that 13-year-old kids think about, whatever that was, you know. And I come up after about an hour. My coach comes running toward me. I've been looking for you. They just called your race. So anyway, I went out. I had to still run the race, and I won the race. But I learned a valuable lesson that day. Never doubt myself, never question my abilities. All I can do is to do my best, right? Because I put all that work in. So I was around 13 or 14 at that time. So I continued, and fortunately I was good enough to obtain a scholarship for a school in Los Angeles. It's called UCLA. You ever heard of UCLA? It's in Los Angeles. So I went there. So I was a freshman. That was my first year, they call it. 400-meter runner. There were a lot of other great runners at that school. I was just a young kid coming in, right? You know, I just wanted to fit in. But I knew that I had to put the work in. I came in the fall of '87. That next year was '88 Olympics, which was in Seoul, Korea. I didn't think that I would make an Olympic team. I was only 18, 19 at the time. But I was going to train hard. During that particular season, I had shin splint problems. Had to take time off, but I had a good fall background training. I trained hard in the fall with my teammates. So as the season progressed, I started running faster times. Then we have what's called our Olympic trials, where the top 3 make the team in an individual event. And my coach said, Stephen, I think you can make this team. I'm like, really? So I went out there. All I had to do was place in the top 3 in our Olympic trials. So I'm 19 at the time, just turned 19. And let me back up. Before the Olympic trials, I actually set the world junior record in the 400 meters when I was 18. I ran a 44.69. So I tied it. I tied the world record. And so I felt pretty good about myself. So I go into the Olympic trials, first round, second round, third round, I took third. I made the team, 19-year-old, freshman from UCLA, a year out of high school. Good job. So here I am now, prepared to go run on the biggest stage in the world, Seoul, Korea, 1988 Olympics. I was just happy to be there, right? But, you know, I said, I think I can do this. So I went through the rounds. I started getting better and faster. Finally, it came time for the finals. I made the final. I was in lane 6. As I was sitting behind my blocks, I thought about the time when I was 13 years old, and I doubted myself, and I said, you know what? I'm ready. Because there's nothing more that I can do at that moment behind the starting blocks that's going to make me any faster. It's not like I can go one fast stride. What I got is what I got. So it was up to me to put my best foot forward, and I went out hard, came back around, and I won the race. And I won the Olympic gold medal at the age of 19. Not too much older than what you are now. I was the youngest and still the youngest 400-meter gold medalist ever. I still hold the world junior record, and next month will mark the 35th year of that record. So my point to you is, you might be 13, 14, 15. Age has nothing to do with it. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. The mentality, right? That mental. You set that tone now, right? I was your age when I was thinking, I want to conquer the world. I was thinking that at your age. I want to be the best in the world. A few years after where you are now, you can do that, or less. I want to see some of you break my record, right? It's 35 years old. But that's the thing, right? These reference points, these lessons that we have along the way. So I won the gold medal in '88, set the world junior record. We also won the gold medal, broke a world record in the 4x400 meter relay, or we call the mile relay, in '88. 2 years later, I got really sick. Something was going on with me with my body, and I didn't know what was going on. The doctors couldn't figure it out, so I figured that there you go. No more running for me. And that was kind of my little downfall, right? I felt like, okay, how do I overcome this? But because I had support of my teammates and my family And I remembered, what did I do to overcome before? I worked hard. I made it another Olympic team. I made the Olympic team in '92 for Barcelona to defend my title in the 400 meters. Got second that day. It was a bad race. But I still went and I made it. I got a medal, took silver, and then we also broke the world record in the 4x400 meter relay. So at one of the lowest points in my life, again, I was 21, I'm like, how do I do it? How do I overcome it? The 5 Ps, remember those? What? Proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? I was prepared. I had all these reference points, these experiences, right? And that's what helped me get through it. And after that, another thing happened. I had some back problems with the end of my running career, but I left at a high. You know, I learned a lot, and now pivot, right? You heard that term, pivot. What do I do after sports? So I had to figure out, how do I reinvent myself? I just think about all the things that I learned along the way, right? Discipline, right? And just, commitment. All those things I had to carry into whatever I did later in life. So right now, I actually sell robots. Orthopedic surgery, so robots that they use to do total knee and total hip replacements. So I'm in surgery, working with surgeons all the time. That's my life, and I love it. But I had to pivot, because there is a life after sport. And it starts with education. Educate yourself and stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Now, I'm going to test you. What are the 5 Ps? Somebody was listening. 5 Ps, what? Outstanding. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Yes, sir. Prepare to fail. Absolutely. Oh, he got that. Ooh, he get bonus points. Yeah, because if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So 5 Ps, proper preparation prevents poor performance. That is so true. And stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and that's the mental. Right? Questions? I know you got questions. Before someone wants to go out and challenge me, I'm ready. I'm ready. I got my daughter with me. She's a runner too. She's about your age. She looking back. What you got?
If I can ask.
Yes.
So you've had.
I ran for a club at Santa Monica Track Club, and I was the baby at the time. I was 19, running with all these. So one of my good friends, my mentor, someone I really looked up to, one of the greatest sprinters of all time, his name was Carl Lewis, right? And I had other teammates as well, Johnny Gray, Leroy Burrell, a lot of just professional runners. So my friends were teammates that were as good as I was or better, and they encouraged me, we encouraged each other. So the company you keep, good point, Coach, the company you keep, the people you surround yourself says a lot about who you are. Don't be in this negative group, be in the positive group. It's all about your tribe, we call it. Who is your tribe? What tribe? Who do you have surrounding you, right? It's a collective. You grow together. You don't need anyone pulling you down. You don't need anyone beating you down or putting you down when you do, when you fail or if you don't have a good day. You need people encouraging you, lifting you up. That's important. So surround yourself with positive influences. And it's a reciprocation thing, right? Give and receive, right? So you getting that good energy, positive energy, give it back. Reciprocate. Yes. Yeah, balancing the studies. So she had a good point. Balancing the studies and education, right? So I feel that there's a balance to everything, right? And you got to have an outlet, but obviously you have to prioritize. And so when I was younger, the priority was to get that education and get that degree and then go on. So it was hard juggling, but I had the priorities. So as long as I had my priorities on that education. Now, the running was important to me at the time because I had the opportunity to be competing at the highest level. So I just had to focus on those 2 things at that time and not other things. I had to kind of block certain things out. It was then about my education and my track, my running. But yeah, the balancing act is real. Everything is a balancing act. Social media. Be careful what you put out there because coaches are looking at kids' social media. Just like with jobs. You can interview a job later in life. They're looking at what you're doing socially. They want to know who you are as a person. So yes, to that point, social media is just careful what you put out there because once it's out there, it's out there. You can't bring it back. So what's your image like out there to the world? Very important. Good point, Coach. Absolutely. Oh, yes.